Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and I thought I would do a quick video. I've been doing videos all day. I've got more videos to do. I'm trying to close out my total decks I have, and decks I got in December, and all kinds of stuff before. I'm not gonna get it. Excuse me. I'm not gonna get it done before the new year because that's in like 4 hours. So it is 12/31/2022. The last few hours, it was kind of weird earlier. I was watching the sun go down. I'm like, that's the last sundown of 2022. Kind of odd. It just struck me that weird. But as you know, I've done a year ahead spread all year long. Every month I do go over the cards that I pulled in January a year ago. And just relay you guys how my month went and what happened. And so we're just finishing out the year with the card of the month for December. And I actually used my Dream Keepers Tarot by Liz Houston. It's a U.S. Games deck. And the Ferenc Pinter Tarot by Lo Scarabero, which is this one. I wanted to dive deep into these decks this year, so I used both as my year ahead spread. And they either really worked well together, complemented each other, or they were like light and shadow of each other. So I found that very interesting. My month was spent, and here's the star is the card from the Dream Keepers Tarot, and then the Death card is the card for the Ferenc Pinter Tarot. And I just found that odd because and she's holding a skull in the star card, so I found that quite interesting. There's moon and the darkness and shadow and light in that card. She's facing forward, and then the Death card has his back to you. So that's kind of interesting to me. The month of December was pretty much stressed about money, stressed about doctors, and then my dad's wife, my stepmother, passed away suddenly on December 3rd, which, seeing that we have the Death card in this month, makes it quite fitting, actually. But I never really connect with the star card. Like, there's something bigger than myself, is what I see in the star card. There's someone watching over me, someone protecting me, and I didn't really feel that in December. I felt lost and like wandering, like I'm sorry, I keep yawning. Wow, it just started. After the death of my stepmother and my father, I've never seen my dad so lost and like not know what to do with himself. I kind of took on that energy, even though I'm a couple states from him. I live a few states away from him. I felt so horrible in that moment when he called me and told me she had passed that I feel like I took on that energy that he was feeling, and it kind of carried throughout the month, where I felt lost and I felt alone and I felt like I didn't have anybody to turn to or confide in. And so the star card seemed kind of like the antithesis of that for me, where I was just like, I don't have anywhere to turn. I don't have anybody that has my back. And to me, the star card is a card where the universe has your back, and I just didn't feel like it did. It just felt like the culmination of the year. It was like, what more can I handle? What more can I carry on? What more can I put on my back this year? And it felt very odd to have the star card pop up when I didn't feel like anybody had my back at all. And it just kind of was a reminder there in the last couple weeks here that whether we feel it or not, whether we want to see it or not, there's always we're always part of something bigger. We're always part of just a speck in the universe of whatever else is out there. And the star card kind of changed perspectives and reminded me that I'm just one small piece of that. So there may be times when I feel like I'm all alone, but I'm never alone, if that makes sense. And then, of course, the death card was literally dead on with her passing. I don't even know if I need to say anything else about the death card, because I do want to say in this specific death card, it almost feels like they killed someone to get to there's a greed factor here, which I don't really care for in my death card. Because I see the death card as a death and a rebirth. Something has to go away for something new to take its spot. And I just really felt that. Maybe with her passing, that because, I mean, she's been with my dad like 20-something years. I never really got to know her, but I almost feel like he's going to have a hard time. And I don't want to say, because I don't know anybody, I don't know her family well, but I feel like the vultures are ascending. I just keep hearing that vultures are ascending, and my dad needs to be prepared for that. And so I feel like this is more about him and what he's going through, and then me just having to be there for him if he needs somebody to talk to or a shoulder to cry on or whatever he needs. And I find it interesting that, and I said this in my last video, that my grandmother passed in February, which was my mother's mom. My father, who was also never really there for me, his wife passed away in this month. And twice this year, I've had to deal with both parents. They've been divorced since I was 4. So there's 2 separate times I had to be there for one of them. And it was like the roles were reversed, like they were the kid and I was the parent, protecting them, watching over them. And maybe that's the takeaway with the star card, that maybe I was the star. I was that protector, the overlooker, and that's why I felt like I was alone, because I was the one in that spot that's the overall, if that makes sense. So that's quite interesting. So let's look at the book and see what it says here on the star card. And I love the Dream Keepers book. Love it. And I'm going to look at here. It's a long words. It says spiritual regeneration through deep healing and instrumentation of the original wound. The renewal of one's life force. From ancestral waters, the wounded healer emerges and carefully considers the world beneath the waves. Her dress, hatched from her own hand, flows downward in a sublime motion, revealing a portion of her body reduced to bone. A skeletal fishtail where we expect her legs would be. White, the color of transfiguration, bathes her in an ambience of potentiality, offset by the red flower blooming from her center and ruby ribbons draping her sides. A raven offers her flowers of love and wisdom. I don't see the raven. Huh. Is it that spot there? I don't see a raven in here. Interesting. A raven offers her flowers of love and wisdom as tokens for remembering her passage through a difficult journey. The planetoid Chiron, associated with the wounded healer, resets on her shoulders like the weight of Atlas. Interesting. She, however, is not burdened by its weight, instead allowing its light to serve as a halo. It emanates all across the firmament, filling the space around her with the pulse of life. That's beautiful. The wounded healer is a powerful archetype at the core of all genuine healing. In his work, Carl Jung linked this archetype with the myth of Chiron an immortal centaur, half man, half beast, and half brother of Zeus. He was a respected teacher and powerful healer, famous for instructing Achilles, Asclepius, Jason, and many others. Chiron was fatally wounded by one of Hercules' arrows, and in his excruciating pain, willingly gave his immortality to Prometheus, who then gave humanity fire. After Chiron's death, Zeus placed him in the sky to be revered for all time. Like Chiron, the figure of the star card is also half human, half beast, but she is of the sea and moves with a partially formed tail to swim in deep waters. With such a tail as an impossible feat, and so in a symbolic gesture of ingenuity, she has affixed a ship to her head. The sails she carefully placed to keep her from drowning. In the center of her chest, she bears the original wound of a heart broken open. Wow. And while this heart will never be as it once was, it has mended enough to blossom and become a source of nectar for other creatures. Such is the path of healing. To understand and to heal the pain of others, we must first understand and heal our own pain. Wow. Divinatory message. The appearance of the star in a reading indicates that you are traveling a path of healing. She is here to shine hope into our present, lighting the way to tomorrow, allowing to live in expectation rather than despair. She offers practical and symbolic solutions, both of which were integral to her own healing. She tends to our positive thoughts and gives freely to all, offering healing. Sorry about that. She tends to our positive thoughts and gives freely to all, offering overwhelming hope in the face of desperation. If your imagination is stalled, the star is here to reopen your pathways, to stimulate you on deeper levels. If you are grieving a person or any other loss, she is here to usher you through the anguish and into a more tranquil state. I find that very odd that mentioned if you're grieving someone, and then I also pulled the death card from this. This is interesting for this month. Having accepted and healed her own wounds and losses, she teaches us how to bear and heal our own. More than anything, the star is here to teach you to shine. Just as she is a heavenly body, so too are you. We are enormous in our influence and reach, even though we may perceive ourselves as nothing more than tiny specks in the black expanse. Not only are we made of light, we are our light. She reminds us to embrace our healing light and to never be afraid to shine. Wow. That just, it ties into this month perfectly. Healing, and then the keywords upright: healing, inspiration, generosity, serenity, faith, and renewal. Reversal: lack of faith, disconnection, doubt, undeveloped talent. So it could very well be that I have experienced the negativity of the star card this year, the reverse meanings. That's quite interesting. But the book, if you don't have this deck, I would buy it just for the book. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. It almost makes me cry every time I read that. That was stunning. So let's look at the death card in the Fairy-Panther Tarot. And it's funny because I got, in December, the end of the year, I don't know that I think I got a couple majors, but I got both majors in this month. I just realized that. Interesting. So the death card in this is just a little bitty blurb. And it says, description: the figure of the Reaper approaches an open treasure chest. A skeletal corpse sprawls behind it. Essence: death is the card of endings, purification, and release. One door closes, another opens. In a reading, a significant chapter is coming to a close. Release attachment to the way things used to be and the way you hoped they could continue. Find some closure and the final wisdom from the lessons before moving on. The fruit that falls from the tree contains the seeds of new life. Look for the hidden door that is now open to you. Sincerely, bid to what was sincerely bid to what has been lost. Mourn and move on. Note the shimmering jewels in the chest. So the shimmering jewels are the potential, from what I just read in that. The shimmering, the death has come. It's come and gone, and then the jewels are the potential for new. Quite interesting. Once again, quite fitting for how my month went in the month of December. I am going to be doing this a little bit differently next year. I have yet to pull my year ahead spread, but I will be doing that tonight. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're loaded to any future videos. And y'all have a good night.